Guys, it is Uncle Bob, and welcome to the channel. Welcome back, everyone. Let's put this bad boy on Do Not Disturb, and thanks for hanging out with me. Happy Saturday, everyone. We are back for more Advanced Wars. Here to do Mission 12 of the training missions, and this is the finale because somehow, I don't know how I ended up doing this. I was just clearly lost in whatever I was saying, and I also was on my Winston Churchill potions. Like I'm enjoying right now, I'm just finishing off the last bit of this bottle. By the time I start up, I'm always finishing up my drinking. But yeah, this is the last of the bottle. The last of a $60 bottle of whiskey. Pretty expensive for one bottle of alcohol. At least for me it is. But ooh, it was all with money I donate plasma with. So I try to leave my vices to non-work money, non-bill money. Try not to let any money that goes to bills or my kids or food or living, none of that goes to my drink. That is all plasma money. But yeah, just finishing off this bottle, enjoying Saturday night. Trying to keep an ear out in case my daughter wakes up, because that happened last week where it was towards the end of the day. I'd heard my daughter crying inside, so I had to go inside and, go soothe her back to sleep, go handle my daddo duties. But yeah, we're just enjoying life, guys. Had just a regular old, regular day of work. I was pretty autistic today at work, though, because I was trying to figure out while I was working today, because today they had me loading the UPS delivery trucks. And one thing about me, I am terrible at the delivery trucks. Like, bro, I am so bad at it. So bad. I'm just trying to be organized in that small of a space, because when you're inside, at least for, listen, I am a 5'7", short, stocky, burly Mexican. I do not fit in the... Stop doing that! I do not fit in the UPS trucks very well once they start getting really loaded in there. I'm just too big. I'm too clumsy. My mind is also not organized enough to do the trucks, really. I'm terrible at it. When I was at the old building and they actually occasionally had me load the semi-trucks I could do just fine. They could give me more packages in the semis than the other trucks combined delivery truck job. I could do more in the semis, no problems. More space, more places for my mind to kind of do its Tetris, I'm good. But the delivery trucks wasn't good. But luckily, they gave me a pretty easy pull today, even though I still needed help with it, like I always do. Someone had to come and help me out. I would have been done maybe a half hour later than they would have wanted me to be, but I would have been done with it. I was doing as okay as I'm going to do. But I decided today to listen to all 7 albums that a band called All the Nico, ALLTHENIKO, All the Nico. They're a band from Italy, because I guess it's like a play on some town or region where they grew up. I don't know enough. I just know that because I remember, like, that's a weird name. And they had specifically addressed that it was a play on words of one of the places, local areas for them. But they are a band from Italy, and they play like power metal, so like high-pitched operatic vocals, but like the guitars and all the instrumentation is very thrashy, very nasty, very delicious. And yeah, I spent my day at work today listening to all 7 of their albums. And that was a good day. It was a good day. It wasn't a bad day at all at work. Like sometimes when you get the perfect playlist to listen to and you decide what you want, it's perfect. And I'm a loser because if I'm in a bad mood or I'm in like a thinking mood, usually what I'll do is I'll find just some song that I can just play in the background, and I'll just go to the YouTube advanced settings and just set it to loop. And it'll just loop forever, and I can just be in whatever headspace I want. But if I'm listening to music to actually like listen to music, then it's gotta be full album. I don't even understand how to listen to it. Like, I don't know how to experience music without it being on an album. That's like, to me, like watching a movie as in like, see, this isn't a thing anymore, I don't think. But back when I was a kid and a teenager in the mid 2000s and everything, DVDs had in their menu, well, they still do. People still watch DVDs. They have to, right? Right? I'm not crazy. People still watch DVDs? I hope so. But there would be the chapter list or whatever. And it was like 20, 30 points, different plot points of the story, where you could just skip forward to that specific scene. And listening to music as individual songs would be to me like listening or watching a movie, just individual scenes out of order. Why would you do that? Who does that? That baffles me personally. And I mean, I guess that's why my favorite band, I'm always going to shill them. I'm always their biggest dick rider, will forever be. They're a band from Sweden, a melodic death metal band called Dark Tranquillity. And that's really the reason why I love them, is that it feels to me, even though there's basically any aspect of that band that you want to look at and judge with a pen and paper and be a real music critic, you can basically find a band that does what they do in every avenue better than what they do. I have no problem admitting that. But the thing that they excel at, to me, is that every album, and I would argue, they have this ability from before their debut album when they were little teens in high school. I would argue the same case stands back then. But let's just take their main albums. I always feel like their albums are made as like perfect journeys, like perfect 40 to 50 minute long adventures that you just cruise on a journey, and by the end you're almost left exactly where you started. And that to me is the beauty of them, is that every single individual track, if you were to listen to them one by one, they'd be all right, pretty good, sometimes excellent. But if you listen to the entire thing as an album, everything has a different feel. There's an ebb and a flow. There's just this vibe that every album individually catches. And that's actually the thing that I love the most about them, is that everything just feels so personal. Everything feels like it was made to be listened to. There's nothing that feels like, oh, this is a filler song. You know, it might, for your interests and your vibes, it may be a filler song, but the mind with which it was created was not a filler song. And that's really, to me at least, one of the things that just, it's why they're my favorite band. You know, I remember they just came out with their, get this now, their 13th album about a year ago. And they've had a couple little EPs thrown in the mix through the years, but their main discography is 3 demos and then 13 so far albums. And I remember seeing, they come out with a song or two, and then they release their entire track list of what the new album is. And it was like, what song do you look forward to listen to the most? And I had instantly said, because this has been basically the same for every album they've ever made, and this is my biggest endorsement for them, is that every finale on the end of the album feels like it is the perfect punctuation mark to everything that I just listened to. Like, the entire adventure that I just took feels like it comes around full circle at the end. And I honestly, I'm a little too tipsy. I can't think of what the final track of their last album was. But I remember seeing the track list, and I was like, I'm calling it right now. That last song, that's going to be the best one. Because it almost always is. And if it's not the best, it's the second best on there. I promise you. Every time, they always make their album closers feel perfect. And that's why it's always, at least to me, the biggest pisser when, at very least since YouTube has been a thing, since the mid-2000s, woo! Every album that they've come out with, the first new album that came out since I was a fan of them was back in 2010. Because when I found out about them, their album just before it, their album called Fiction, had like just dropped. It was just hot and fresh when I discovered them. So the first album that came out when I was a fan of them was in 2010, called We Are the Void. And every album from that one till now, hold on, give me one sec. Okay, never mind. I was looking at my roommate. I was going to see if he was going to come up and tell me something. Because then that would usually mean one sec. Exactly. All right. Oops, didn't even turn that camera on for a flash. My roommate just needed me to turn the headlights on for a second. But every album that they've come out since I've been a fan of them, every review I've seen is exactly the same. Every single review is like, it's a bunch of like B-level songs, but nothing, nothing sticks out. Nothing's really like hits home. And it's like, on a surface level, I understand that. Yes, but at least to me, the broader point is that everything feels like it's a journey. It feels like something I'm supposed to take an adventure through. And every album has its own different vibe. Just because I'm autistically in love with this band, their newest album has like almost like a sense of like hope and longing. Like, it just has that vibe of like trying to reach out for something. Meanwhile, their album before it, called Moment, almost felt like walking through a desolate wasteland. It just felt like walking through a wasteland alone. And then they have an album like, their magnum opus to basically anybody who's in the know, called The Gallery. And with that album, everything sounds like it's made to be in like a palace ballroom, but with death metal. Like, everything feels like I'm wandering through a palace or a castle. So every album has like its own emotional vibe or its own like atmospheric vibe. And everyone is just, they're all little adventures. And My biggest endorsement as just a nobody is like, listen, if you ever want to have a fun time, go get you some Zaza, do what you do, and then just put on a Dark Tranquillity album. Could be any one of their 13. If you're not used to melodic death metal, some albums may be a little spicier than others. You know, if you like a little bit more clean singing, then a couple of their newer ones, End Time Hearts or Moment, or one of their middle albums, Projector, you know, one of those might be a little more your suit. If you want something a little more gnarly and a little more nasty, you know, an album like Damage Done might be more your alley. Or if you want something that sounds a little more like natural, as in like nature, maybe go for something like Sky Dancer, which is their debut album, which has not like folk instruments, but it sounds foresty, we'll say, compared to the rest. Like they all have their own vibes, they all have their own little things, and it is why they are my favorite band to this day. You know, I spent like 10, 15 minutes almost just glazing these guys. But it just, like, for me, it's just what I look for when I'm looking into music. If you're a band that I will listen to, like, your singles, and that's the best you got, then, at least for me, then you're probably not a band I like very much. You are a popcorn level band, and not that there's anything wrong with that, because you're going to be someone else's, what Dark Tranquillity is to me, you're going to be to someone else, and that's fine. But generally, if there's a band that I only really listen to their singles, it's probably because I don't like you very much. Because I will listen to albums, and I will listen to the same album over and over again to just hear details that I might not have heard the first time. Because, you know, one of my favorite albums to this day is an album by a band called Green Carnation. This album is very special to me. It is one song, and the song is 1 hour and 6 seconds long. One song. Now, obviously, if you listen to it, you can kind of divide it within to different tracks, quote unquote, but like it's one track. But that's an album that just, when I listen to it, I hear, almost every time I listen to it, I'll hear a detail that I might not have listened to the last time. Just something that sticks out to me that I didn't hear the last time I listened to it. And it feels like even if I listen to the same thing dozens of times, there's always something left to explore. So, yeah, my biggest thing is listen to albums. And this doesn't even have to be a metal thing. Like anybody the 2 people listening to this, or the dozens of people that might hear this in the next 20 years. If you enjoy music of any genre, if you're going to grade it, listen to it as an album. And at least my philosophy is any album, no matter what artist, like, listen, I love my heavy metal, but even if I listen to the poppiest of pop or the poppiest of country, if I listen to a full album, sitting down, start to finish, there has to be at least one song that I'll vibe with. There has to be one. There must be one. There's no way that any artist can put out an hour's worth of content and there's not 3 minutes that don't like, hey, I like this. So just listen to albums. It's also why it's so weird when I see like these memes on social media where it's like, nobody will understand what it was like in the 90s or the 2000s to spend $15 on an album and 3 songs in, realize it sucks. And it's like, bro, I never had this problem. Because like, even if it wasn't an album that I liked, there was always enough to gleam on that it's like, I never viewed it as $15, you know, not well spent. It was just a good time. And like, you know, fuck it. Who cares? But I mean, I'm like that with music. I'm sure there's people that consume other art like that. Like, I have videos where it's like, hey, I'm not reacting to One Piece, but I kind of am. Watch the episode with me that I do twice a week. Um, when it comes to like anime, I am a very surface level person. Just give me your best brain slop and I'm happy. You know, I can't ingest every art form with the same level that, you know, I do everything else. But when it comes to music, I try to be thorough to the point where, fuck, man, I've listened to so many albums, like so many different albums over and over again, and just had a blast listening to the same shit over and over again. Most people would get bored, but when you're exploring something like, it is, I guess, mentioning One Piece. It's like the people who say that One Piece is too long. Like, listen, I'm only just over 300 episodes. I'm in the middle of the Rob Lucci and Luffy fight. And I know how it ends, but, like, I've never watched through the show fully to get that context. And, you know, I'm 300 episodes in. And when I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, that's like in the middle of the, like, Cell, Imperfect Cell sagas is where you're getting. Or, like, yeah, maybe Imperfect Cell. You know, watching all of Dragon Ball and all through Z, all through Frieza, getting to Cell, and that's where I'm at in One Piece in terms of pure episode count. And what the fuck? I just got derailed. Brain derailed. Oh no. Can I rescue it? Unfortunately, I don't have a way to check any sort of chat, so I can never ask the two of you that are here to correct me. But that's what happens when you have your Winston Churchill juice. Wow. That's so awful and so embarrassing that I got derailed that bad. I don't know. Just take this as unadulterated One Piece glaze. Oh yeah, I was talking about when things are too much. Sorry. One Piece is not too much. Like, if there's something that you like, there might be such a thing as too much at once. You might binge yourself of something you like into non-existence. But if you have something you like and you just moderate yourself, it's never enough. I'm watching 2 episodes of One Piece a week. That's it. 2 episodes a week. And after almost 3 years, I'm now over 300 episodes. Now that's a lot of show. That's a lot of show. But when you're handling it in small dose, it never feels like too much. And when you like it, now if I didn't like it, then it would probably feel like fucking torture. But I like it, so you know, it's never too much. It's just, you can't really have too much of a good thing as long as you moderate yourself. Don't binge. I don't even remember how that correlated to the grander topic, but climate status. Yeah, like the thing says, wow, I talked almost 10 minutes longer than I normally like to talk before I actually start the episode, or before I start the gameplay. But yeah, this is the finale. The finale is supposed to be Fog of War because Special Intel is just a little bit of extra dialogue that's not really... I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I don't really care. It was all stuff that is fine. I don't need a refresher course. But last week I was supposed to do climate status. Somehow I just ended up doing Fog of War instead. I just ended up doing the final mission last week somehow. So, since I've actually beaten this game, the title says replay, so this is not my first time playing through this game. Since I've already gone through these, I was actually able to do them out of order. I did Fog of War last week. So today is the actual finale of the field missions, and today is climate status. This mission focuses on climate and commanding officer powers. Before we move out, I need to brief you in detail on commanding officer Olaf. Olaf used to be a CO in the Orange Star Army. In fact, he was my superior. His strong character and skill with the troops make him an invaluable commanding officer. This is what brought him to Blue Moon's attention. Not only did he switch allegiances, but he then attacked Orange Star. He's a complete wretch. Yeah, you can tell where she, maybe give him a little, maybe he was letting her give him a little stabbing. Her a little stabbing. You know what I'm saying? Which, listen, I've lost like almost 35 pounds, but, I know what it's like to have been a big king. Let Olaf get a little piecey piece. Just a little more and the Blue Moon army will be forced to retreat. Let's go get them. Climate steps. Day 1. I have a bad feeling about this. It looks like Olaf has been waiting for us. If we let him use his power, there will be trouble. Let's take him out all at once. I'm going to leave this one up to you. Good luck. Okay, that is awesome. All right. He does have a few air units, so let's... All right, let me drunkenly get a good view of this. Unfortunately, this block, at least when I'm on this side, in the Woods Defense 2 is on the left screen, that actually blocks my troops. This one doesn't block anything, other than that copter. How far can he go? Who can he hit? You're going to stay right there in anticipation. You're going to stay right here. I want you exactly there. Like to the T. Load you up. Load you up. I don't know what for yet. Okay, we're gonna do one of these, and then one of these, right? Oh, yes! That is a perfect move. Ooh, you know what? See, I was about to make a mistake right there. But we shan't make mistakes. Okay, I cannot load 2 enemies. All right, I don't think I really want to move anyone else yet. All right, hold on. I do need to roll down my window. Let me check for my daughter. No? Cool. Most excellent. I mean, she's 3. It's not like she's a fucking baby anymore, but unfortunately, the woman babies her a little too much, and she's not exactly the best sleeper through the night. So occasionally I have to go in and soothe her. And luckily, when Mama's out at the karaoke bar just doing her thing, and it's just me, I can get her back up in her bed, not a problem at all. Ah! Winston Churchill juice consumed. Let's go. I've been waiting for you. Naruto needs my power. Heavens, hear me cry. Blizzard. He's about to hit me with that fucking Blizzaga, fam. Alright. Now, this is a bit of a detriment because he gets a... Does he get a buff, movement buff in the snow, or is he simply unaffected by it? It's Olaf's commanding officer power, CO power. This is what he's been waiting for. We've been caught in his trap. Every CO has his or her own special power, a CO power. When Olaf uses his CO power, a huge snowstorm drops in. It's devastating. It can It can falter your movement quite a bit. I think like one space for everything, which can be a pain in the ass. It really can be. But, nothing we can't deal with. But I can't use my CO power right now. I'm sorry. There's one more thing. Olaf is very adept in the snow. It's this power that caught Blue Moon's eye. Oh, eye. Sorry, I have like a crack in my screen protector, and that made that really weird to read. Snow lowers the movement range of all units. See this plane here? Infantry to move across it at a cost of 1 movement unit. In snow, the cost increases to 2. Olaf has a unique advantage here. His troops can move through snow without any adverse... Okay, so he doesn't get a buff. He just doesn't get debuffed by the snow, which is still a buff. Like, tomato, tomato. This has turned into a rough... completely legal in the state of Illinois, mind you. But it should stop snowing after a few days. Just be patient and try to hold out until then. Out of here, bitch! Yeah! I will never skip animations. I only get to play this game once a week. I'm going to enjoy every last second of this. Put you here. You're already ready. Oh my God, go after the infantry unit. Please, for the love of God. I would love you so much if you did it. All right, we're going to vacate these premises. No, you fucker. All right, end it. We're in a pretty good position. We're in a good position. I like where we're at right now. You can capture all the buildings you want. There's no bases right now. I don't give a fuck. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Okay. What's in here? A regular infantry. That is unfortunate. Okay. Wow, that still does. Even when I'm half done, that still takes out. Ooh. Ooh, he's probably going to die, but ooh. Okay, hit. Hit a guy who can't hit back. I enjoy this. No! No! Ooh! No! I got too trigger happy and I wasn't paying it. No! I double tapped. No! Yeah! Now, see, this is so annoying. Put you in there. Damn, that one move really just, like, this is a training mission, so it didn't fuck me, but it's definitely most unkind. That's beautiful. That's actually exactly what I wanted you to do. Pew, 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 pew. That sucks. But that's also why I put him there. I'll get rid of the chopper. Okay, that's unfortunate. Oh, hold on one sec. Shit. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I was talking into the void. I will be restarting the stream in a couple minutes because the female be calling, and I need to see what she wants because it's probably nothing. But actually, I'm gonna play until I get another call because if I get another call, then I know it's quote unquote serious. And it's a lot to take out a number 3 or whatever. Okay. Crush this guy. All right, no more. I don't know why I didn't just start up by loading up the fucking. the mech units on there. Fucking sad. That's awesome though. Huh? The snow stopped? I don't have enough time to build up my power again. But I must have put fear into their hearts. Go, my soldiers. Don't give them time to regroup. Defeat them all. You are not going to do that. What you are, though, is a bitch. You held out long enough. The snow has stopped. You better watch out, though. Olaf still has plenty of units. You must regroup. Pop these guys. Game is being very generous. Check out these mech units. Not take out, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Do whatever damage I can on these guys. Give him that damage. All right, where can you go? Because you're clearly waiting. Oh, that was a wrong deal to make. That was dumb. That was dumb. I don't know why I did that. Beautiful. You took the bait. Took the bait. It started raining. This is a real blessing. Rain slows movement a little bit. More importantly, rain punishes Olaf. He'll be brought to a virtual standstill. You have to move now. Take them out in one swift blow. Okay, well, I don't know if we can swift blow these guys. But let's take out what we can from afar. Take you out. Brah. Pretty useless, honestly. I should have moved him. I don't know what I'm doing. I should have just moved him. That's already ours. What do I even... Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him! Fuck this bitch. Alright, let's do one of these. Where's your range? Make you absorb every single blow I can until I bring the big boys in. And that should be enough right there. Yes, sir. Now we old-fashioned colonialism them. And they do have one. They do have an air unit up there. What's this? It started raining. Ugh. Our spirits will have to carry us. As he doesn't move a lick. Beautiful. Get this bitch the fuck out of here. Bye. Bye, stupid. And your building's mine. Ooh, let's not do that. Let's not. That's what we're going to do right there. This shit can't get up here anyway. There's one guy just lagging behind over here. That was a dangerous move. Oh, you're a bitch. Weaken their. Capture. Capture. Well, that appears to be it. Brutal. Brutal. That was not who I was expecting you to go after. That's ridiculous. That is some shitty AI on your part. I should be down a whole other unit. Alright, this guy should be able to blow up. Go on, get rid of this rocket. I'm just going to take pot shots at him. You can basically go for whoever you want at this point. What a weird selection. And there we go, pure elimination. Do what little damage I can, which is basically the same damage as he can do. Ooh, I hath done put thee in checkmate. You can basically do whatever you want now. My technique score is going to be going down, though. Do the slightest of damage you can. Just get anything. You chose the enemy that could fire back. Wild decision making. Still wouldn't have been enough. Do that 7 damage. Get all 7 of those damage. Those damage, yeah, you heard me right. Endless chip damage. Endless chip damage. Alright, you get left alive. Fine. Each commanding officer has a unique special ability. In Olaf's case, he works well in snow, but he is susceptible to rain. Regardless of that, you were great this time. If you can win the next battle, then I'll have taught you all I can. I think the next battle will be our last one together. Keep up the good work. And I already did that last battle last week because that's why. If I don't win soon, they'll be back. They'll get back all the land I went to the trouble of capturing. Just wait until next time. There won't be a next time. I win all of it. My technique was oof. Still an A, but oof. Alright, there's not really a reason to save, but that is it for the day, guys. Next time, we will start the actual campaign. I have been happy with the smoothness that all of these have gone, at least on the times that I have remembered to connect to my Wi-Fi, because I have forgotten that every once in a while. I have forgotten that. But yeah, I've been happy with this. I've been happy with the way it's gone. So next week, I actually start the campaign, which will be a lot more interesting than the actual than the campaign missions have been so far. I've said it before, but I guess it's worth it now that this is the end. Might as well. These were for. Ooh, excuse me. These were basically the entire last, few months have been all test runs because I had success with streaming before, and then for some reason that ease went away, and I finally was able to find a setup that works, aka me just being in my driveway where I'm close enough for the Wi-Fi to work. But I found a situation, a setup that I like. So we got everything going. And I've been happy with it so far. I've been really happy. So next week, when we come back, I will be here with actual campaign footage. Or not footage, because it's live. I will be here playing the actual campaign, which has been a long time coming. And then I will try and keep track of the different paths I take, because I do want to ensure that I hit every mission, because there's branching paths, and I've already said I'm going to play through this game twice, but I want to be able to make sure I hit every mission on every path that branches out, so that way I get to play the final map. Because that's basically, ooh, hello. Why would you do, why do, phone fell. But I really do just want to play through the actual, I want to play through that hidden map. That's really what intrigues me. And I know there's not really anything like it. At least it doesn't seem like there's anything like it in any of the other Advance War games. It kind of feels like it warrants me going through and playing through this game twice. The rest of the games, I'm not going to do that. Maybe what I'll do is, since most games I plan on doing the campaign and then the war room, maybe I'll do campaign, war room, campaign. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But yeah, I think that's going to be, I think I'm only going to stay a couple of minutes, and then that's going to be it. Because I talked a bit before I started playing. I talked a little extra, so I figure I'll talk a little less now that I'm done. But yeah, next week will be the actual start of the campaign. And I don't want to click it, even though I really, really, really want to click it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20. Who knows? Maybe I will need to play through 2 before I can do the war rooms. But there's going to be 20 of those maps, so that's basically almost 6 months of playing just on these maps alone. That'll be. There's so much content I want to get to, because my end goal is to finish the Advanced War games at very minimum, at the minimum. Advance Wars 1 and 2, though I do plan on playing Dual Strike and Days of Ruin as well. Because I anticipate I'll have a better phone by then, that I can play DS games pretty well. But I want to play those as well. If I can't, then I can't, and then I'll just move to the Fire Emblem games. But everything is basically in anticipation of getting to play through the Fire Emblem games again, because every time I've tried playing them, something has gone wrong, and the entire experience has gone. And after like 2 times of it happening, and then another time of it happening on Advance Wars 2, just not fun. Which is why I spent the last few months doing this, because I wanted to make sure that if anything was going to be going wrong, that at very least it's field training. I wouldn't feel bad if it's like, you know what, it's not working, bail out of the project. But the last 13 weeks, it's worked. Except for when I forgot to actually connect to the Wi-Fi, which is on me. But everything else, it's worked. So it's like, I'm very optimistic about how starting up the campaign is going to be. So yeah, we will be back next week for the campaign mission 1. I can't wait to see y'all guys then. So, yeah, till next time, guys. It has been fun. Peace.